Hey everyone, and welcome to the Diving In podcast. This is episode 2, and thank you all for tuning in. You got Max here, but before we dive in, yo Mario, tell us what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, Max. So we're going to be talking about your passions, narrowing down your passions and the stigma behind it, self-education, the power of YouTube, and motivation and action. How to take action once you're motivated.
Alrighty, folks, let's dive in here. Alrighty, topic 1, passions. Passions. So where do we want to start? The advice I've gotten, and I'm sure most of you have heard out there, is you need to really narrow down your passions. You know, everyone's passionate about something out there. Whether you know it or not, you definitely have passions out there. So let's talk about this. So I still have a million passions out there, but I really, this last year, have been working on narrowing it down to 3 to 5. And this is advice I've gotten from so many people. Specifically, I had some phone calls with vice president of the 49ers. Don't even ask how I know him, but he's a really great guy, Rob Alberino. And he gave me advice when I called him and I started, trying to figure out exactly like how I can get, into a sports organization like the NFL, because I mean, who doesn't want to work for a sports organization? I mean, that's like one of the very few jobs I would allow to take my time on, because a lot of jobs out there are not worth your time. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So what he said to me was, you seem well-rounded, but kind of overall, you're not really, on point in what you're looking for. So he told me to, make a list of things you're passionate about, things you like to do, things you care about, things you can see yourself putting time and effort into. So that's what I did. I wrote a list of probably like 15 to 20 different things that I could be, focused on, things I'm passionate about. And then once you have this list in front of you, look through it, really think about each one and try to narrow it down to the top 3, the 3 that really speak to you, that really, a motivation that... I mean, that's a really interesting point, because, like a lot of people out there, they kind of say, like Gary Vee, they pretty much mention like, hey, try as many different things that you're passionate about as you want. And then from there, you just kind of eliminate the things that you don't like. So somebody telling you to write a list and telling you like, hey, put out the 20 things that you like and then narrowing it down to 3. That's a very interesting perspective. So yeah, it's nice once you have, you cross this shit off the list and then you come down and you're like, wow, I got my core 5, I got my 3, I got my 1, I got my 2, that's good.
It's tough though. It's tough. Especially for me.
Yeah, it's not easy for sure.
I feel as though I have a lot of different things that I'm passionate about that I really would love to try and spend time doing. But once you start doing these things, you kind of realize that you don't really have the time to focus on each one. So it could be a little bit frustrating at times. So it's hard. That's
a good point, because another thing we want to stress here is that, passions, or whatever you're passionate about right now, it's not a finite thing. It's what you're passionate about is going to change throughout the course of your life. So yeah, you want to make a list and you want to narrow down to 3, but at the same time, you want to be doing this, if not every few months, every year, because your passions align with your goals and your ambitions and new things that you discover and come across. So your passion is going to, change throughout the course of someone's life, if not, every year. So before we get into like just, some examples, let's say that you narrow down a list of 20 to a list of 5. You're looking at this, you circle them, you have your 5 passions on paper right in front of you. Now, if you're really sure that these are what is calling your name and whatnot, then the next step in there is going to be to completely dive into
start making that progress.
Yeah, start making this progress in these passions. So let's say you have 3 passions. So you want to dive into it. You want to embellish yourself within everything that this passion, let's say it's podcasting. Let's say it's making music. Let's say it's, I don't know, coding, playing sports, whatever. You want to surround yourself with people that are doing the same thing or have similar passions or similar goals. You really need to just, and you got to be surrounded by what you're trying to be passionate about and move on, because that's the only way that you're going to find progress in what you care about as that passion.
Yeah. I mean, with anything that you're doing, you really want to have a strategy as to how you're going to kind of go about getting to that goal. You know, you have to be able to set your strategy like, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and that. And then from there, it's like, okay, what are my goals? What am I trying to accomplish? So, I mean, you have to understand where you're going before you get there. So that's the big thing about that.
So can I put you on the spot or?
Yeah, go ahead. What's up, man?
All right. What passions are you looking at right now? I know. I'm thinking about it myself right now. I wish I made a list before, but
yeah.
Go ahead. What do you got for us?
Passions right now?
Yeah.
Man, I think I have a lot of different passions right now. Like whether we're both trying to be entrepreneurs.
So like a self starter.
Right.
It's definitely something to
for sure. That, you know, and so like that's like marketing, programming for sure. I really do want to be a good programmer.
In what sense? Like app development, web development, programs?
Yeah,
like
app development, web development, all that type of stuff, you know. But the thing that I realized with that is
that's really one of your passions?
Yeah. I mean, I think the coolest thing to be able to do is just to be able to build something and kind of like give it to people to be able to use, whatever it is, like laptops or microphones, whatever, some type of software, you know, just being able to build it and be like, you know, here you go.
I'm the computer scientist here. That's funny to hear.
Right. So, I mean, I just think that's really cool to be able to do. But, you know, I mean, Max can kind of attest to this. When it comes to programming, it's not easy. And it could be a little bit frustrating at times because, you know, you can spend hours on end trying to figure out this one little problem. And then you end up realizing that it was, you know, you forgot some type of syntax or something like that.
Yeah,
so
bugs.
It could be,
you get bugs left and right. Oh yeah, but that just comes with the coding. But
right.
Yeah, damn that. See, I like building things just like you. Like, I like creating things, but I need it to be like physical objects, like physical things.
More hardware, yeah.
Yeah, so I really like. I mean, I graduated with a computer science degree, so I mean, I know how to code in several different languages. I've developed apps, made websites, etc. But I mean, it's. Yeah, as much as I'm on the screen, whether it's my phone or computer, I really don't like screen time. I like physical objects, things that I could create, get my hands dirty with, things like that. I mean, that's what. So I guess like 3D printing is probably one of my passions.
But you're really good with that.
Yeah, more than that though, it's more just like the design, like being able to design something on the computer, like build it up from scratch. You know, customize it, do whatever. As far as like you could create logos, you could create, you know. Things like that. So
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna hop in here. So this is completely off topic because I remember that one time, I don't know if you remember, where we were at collab a couple years back, and we talked about this the first episode, but we were at there, and I don't know if you remember, but we were at Startup Town, and I remember this guy was just showing us how to use remember the circuit boards, like how to program circuit boards and everything like that. So I thought that was pretty cool, you know, being able to see that.
Wait, what? That was at collab?
Yeah. So we had it was at Startup Town.
Was that like the top floor? Oh,
right,
yeah.
At the top.
So yeah, this was a co-working space. So where we were on the bottom floor in a small corner, on the top floor, like this whole company was overrunning the top floor of this co-working space. And they were like Bird Brain. I think it was like Bird Brain. Was it Bird Brain? Yeah, look at that memory, dude. I'm good as shit. But yeah, I think they were making like interactive circuit boards for kids to play with and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's exactly what it was. So that's a little bit off topic, but you know, that was really cool.
No, that's cool stuff. So yeah, let me think of more passions I got. So, well, one, creating things, building things, like that's definitely probably top of my list. Yeah. Number two, I don't want to say sports, but I mean the sports are so much a part of my life. Like to say I'm passionate about like the Eagles or the Sixers is an understatement because
bro, we love them.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing right now? We're depressed as hell because the Patriots came in and made us look stupid. But it really wasn't even our fault though. I mean, Wentz can't really throw the ball. But if you're listening to this, Carson, I love you. Keep that confidence.
No, man. It's them receivers there. They don't have hands. They need to put me out there. I need to be out there.
You do. You're unathletic as hell. But yeah, we do need receivers, though. Yeah, bring Foles back 2020. That's the last thing I'm going to say about the Birds. But
bro. He's gone.
But yeah, so sports, creating things, and I don't know. I think just doing it on your own, I think is something that I'm passionate about. I don't really know how to word that well, but I just don't want to be, you know, creating something for something else really that I get passionate about or that I don't really care about. Right. And Yeah, real quick. When we're going to talk about this a little bit more in depth in a second here, but passion, what you're passionate about, it really can and it shouldn't be something that you enjoy, something that's fun to you, something that you love to do. What you're passionate about needs to be about something that you care about, something that you really, really want to see improvement in, something that you want to work on, something that you see in the world that needs a problem. So it's not going to be fun. Whatever passion you decide to pursue, it's not going to be a fun time. It's going to be a lot of hardships. It's going to be challenging, but that's what makes like a success that much better of a feeling, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes it worthwhile. Once you achieve that goal, once you knew that you put that work into it to get to that point, that's way better than kind of taking the easy way out when it's kind of, when you take the easy way out, it's just kind of like, oh, I made it. Cool. But you don't feel that passion, that accomplishment that you achieve when you work your ass off to get to that point that you want to be at.
Like I could say I'm passionate about, playing Mario Kart or Super Smash Bros, but when I beat the shit out of my friends in those games, I'm not going to feel, I feel good in the moment, but it's not something it's not a challenge that I really strive for.
Unless money is involved, then.
Yeah, unless money's involved, or drinking games or whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But
then you feel good.
But yeah, so speaking about on your passions not being something that's really fun, but more something that you care about, me and Mario stumbled across this article about stigmas behind your passions. It was by the Harvard Business Review, which is a great. I don't really follow them online, but I follow them on like Instagram and whatnot. And they just have great advice from everything about cracking interviews to finding motivation to adjusting your work-life balance, things like that. I mean, they're just an overall great source of content for people who are just trying to maximize the time you have like day in and day out. So this article was about the stigmas behind passion. So there's 3 topics. So number 1 in this list is the idea that passions are fixed. The idea that passions are something that you're almost born into, something that you're either passionate about something or you're not passionate about something. And that's just a false statement. In reality, passions take development, passions take trying new things, passions take, you really just got to get out there and see a lot of, like, if you're stuck in one place or you have this one mindset that you're either all about it or you're not all about it, then you're going to be stuck in there and you're going to end up in the long run being less exposed to more experiences and passions that you may or may not have, come across.
Right. And I mean, let me add on a little bit here to that point, because I think that especially once you grow up in life, you kind of realize that you like certain things that you didn't think that you would like years ago, and you become passionate about those things. So I think in life, you kind of have to understand that what you're passionate about now isn't necessarily going to be something that you're passionate about down the road. And you may find something that new that you never even knew existed, like I could probably attest to this. Growing up, I never really thought, I love technology and everything like that, but at the time growing up, I never really thought that I would be into programming or anything like that.
Yeah, 100%. Same with
once you get introduced to it, you start to realize this is really cool.
Like something tells me that when I was a kid, I always liked, like I was into architecture. So I feel like I always kind of had in the background I cared about building things and, building things out of scratch and things like that. But I never thought 3D printing wasn't even around when I was a kid. But so I don't know. So if I wasn't willing to get a 3D printer at first and learn it and learn how to build it and all these things, then it's not something that I'd be doing right now. But
you gotta have an open mind.
Yeah, exactly. That being said, let's dive into the second stigma that the Harvard Business Review talks about, and that is focus. And we talked about this, initially, but focus on what you care about, not what is, the most fun to you. So yeah, that was pretty much what we were saying earlier, that the passion that you're working towards should not be something fun, something relaxing, something that brings you joy. It should be something that brings you, pain more than anything. So
frustration.
Yeah. So resilience is key in this aspect of the article, because pursuing a passion is an ongoing process. It's a challenging process. It's something that you need to find fulfillment in this, not relaxation, and happiness will follow with, you know, overcoming these challenges and whatnot. So yeah, so we already mentioned that a little bit. In the article they also translated what passions is in Germans, which is Leidenschaft. Leidenschaft is how you say passions in German. The ability to hardship. So the ability to overcome challenges, the ability to feel pain, and keep moving on. So
okay,
yeah, and then let's wrap this first topic up here. So the very last stigma they talk about in this article is overcoming the limits of passion. So you might think like, okay, I narrowed down my list of 3 passions, but I know this number 1 is really the top of my list. This is why I'm going to dive in. This is why I'm going to surround myself with.
That's an interesting point.
And you think, yeah, you're good to go. Like, it's like once you like pick that passion, like there's nothing that can really get in your way because you're ready to, you know, do what it takes to follow this passion because you decided, you made a commitment,
right?
Whatever that is.
Yeah. And some people may not agree with you on that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean that like the whole world's going to shine on you. More than not. So let's play this scenario. You're at work and you're super passionate about your work, but other people. So there are other people that are also passionate about work. Let's say you're a computer programmer, right? There are going to be some older people there that share the same passion as you do if you're really into the work or the project you're working on.
Right.
But there's also people that are just there to collect a paycheck, you know, to live for the weekend, the run the clock out situation type people. I mean, I've definitely been that person myself.
Yeah.
So let's say you're super passionate. You're going to find these people who are also passionate, and they're going to be more willing than anything to help you out and help you gain that success that you're aiming towards, etc.
Exactly.
But then there's those other people that just don't want to be there. They're not as passionate about what they're working on than you are. They're
just trying to collect a check.
Yeah, they're just trying to collect a check, and there's nothing wrong with that. But because they see you're so passionate and eager about this, they're going to be more willing to drop off, like pass over like simple assignments or extra work or things that, you know, that they don't really want to do, but they could pass it on to you. And because you're always so passionate and eager and, you know, seem happy to be doing the work, then they're going to pass it on to you and you're going to take it. But the problem with this is that it's going to stretch you out. Right. It's going to wear you thin eventually because you have people in your like who are also passionate who are going to try to help you. And then you have those people that are going to pass whatever little assignments that they don't want to be working onto you. So
how would you suggest coming over those limits? You know, if that happens, you know, if you're in that environment, how would you overcome those limits?
Off the top of my head, I'd say it's something like, you know, be an observer, like observe what's going on, watch, listen, but don't really talk too much. So I wouldn't take that to heart, like, or to an extreme, but you don't just like, you know, the answer to something. Like, you don't really want to share the answer right away. You don't really want to show people like how enthusiastic you are. You don't want to hide it either. You really just want to like find that community, whether it's in your work or around your town or whatever, that shares the same passions. And with those people, then you can talk to and, you know, express your thoughts and everything. And then you can tell people that don't like can be friendly and whatnot, but you can tell when people are on the same page as you. And if they're not on the same page, then I would just
kind of get away from them.
Maybe just keep your head down and
make it through. You know, those are the type of people that you don't really want to be around all the time. They're going to suck the energy out of you, like he said.
Yeah. And and you're not going to go anywhere if your workload's too heavy. So, So passions, folks. That's passions.
Right.
Let's hear from you what your top 3 passions are. You know, make that list right now as you're listening to this. As we go on to the next 2 topics, think about that and write in the comments what you think your top 3 passions are. All right, folks. That's topic 1.
Hey, what's up, everybody? So we're back, and this is the second topic. So right now we're going to talk about self-education. So the power of YouTube, man. I use YouTube a lot. Like, I use YouTube for everything. From whether it's from programming, understanding about marketing, like ads, all that good stuff. YouTube, and I think I kind of speak for everybody, YouTube has become a big part of all our lives, you know, whether it's you're watching your podcast, you're learning a new skill, whatever it is, YouTube is huge.
Yeah, whether
go ahead.
Yeah, whether you like this dude or not, Ty Lopez, big entrepreneur, great story, great content he puts out there. He seems kind of, I don't know, he kind of annoys me here and there, but I know people who really, really like him, and I don't hate him either, but he talks about the power of YouTube all the time. And he makes it sound like he puts on a platform on exactly like how you know, promising YouTube is for us in this day and age, because you can learn, you can, like, you know, when you grow up, you're told you can do anything, you could be anyone. Like, YouTube allows you to do that. If you want to, like, there's so many courses, so many people doing whatever you want to learn on YouTube that, like, you can find it out.
And
so
it's free.
And
YouTube
it's free.
It's like,
free.
That's free material. You know, if you're not using YouTube,
like, you're spending money to go to college, like, what, $40K a year to go to college when you get, I
mean, I wish I knew about the power of YouTube when I was getting ready to go to college, because, you know, that it just saves so much. So much.
Yeah. So what have you learned on YouTube? Let's just give the audience a little intake on what.
Yeah. So
I mean, I could go on for days.
Right, I could too. So I mean, I'm gonna just give you a little brief synopsis of like what I use YouTube for. So like I said, I use YouTube for learning how to program. You know, so whether it's learning how to create like some type of a website or learning how to do some type of new function, whatever the case may be, I use YouTube for that. You know, I use YouTube for like motivation. So keep bringing it up, but people like Gary Vee. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I use YouTube for all that type of stuff, you know, and there's other types of learning platforms that I use as well, which we'll go to a little bit later. But
yeah, well, YouTube online courses, the same idea. So there's Udemy, there's what other ones are there?
Another one that I like to use is called Skillshare. So Skillshare is really cool. So if you sign up now, get 2 free months. It's worth it. Check it out.
Well, hold on. Don't be promoting with it when we're not getting any money yet. But Coursera is another one, dude.
Coursera, yeah.
But yeah, I just finished a Udemy course right now on how to monetize the podcast. So, but yeah, that's not for you guys to know. That's for me to know and Mario. But what? All right. So YouTube. I'm just gonna ramble on a few things. So, 3D printing. I learned on YouTube alone how to build a 3D printer, which, can you imagine building something that creates almost anything? I learned how to design 3D designs and logos from YouTube. I'm big into photography, Instagram photos by a ghost. It's don't criticize me too hard though. It's not. He's
pretty good, man. He's pretty good.
But anyway, photography, I've learned how to, you know, all the right lighting angles for portraits. I learned, learning about the settings on cameras, which is huge. The ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. Like, you guys don't even know anything about that unless you do. And if you do, hit me up, because I'm struggling with it here and there. But, I keep watching YouTube videos and it gets me. But let's keep going. So, computer science, my whole course, programming. I got through my entire computer science major by YouTube tutorials on how to do like these algorithms, coding in this language, etc. Like, I literally, YouTube was, the main benefactor in helping me learn and get through, because my professors were so like well educated in the material that they would, half the shit they would teach us in a single lecture would go over our head, and we're taking notes, and they're changing slides, and
they expect you to be on their level.
Yeah, and I'm streaming March Madness at the same time. So like, how am I, like, come on. So I had to go home and reteach myself everything in the lecture, pretty much on YouTube. So back to YouTube, app development. I built apps. I have several websites right now that all came from a foundational base through YouTube.
I'm gonna jump in here. So good thing with YouTube too is that there's just so many people that are teaching whatever it is that we just mentioned, and any other thing that you can think of as well. So you can easily find somebody who you prefer to listen to that can kind of educate you in a way that is best for you. You know, so like, let's say, for example, you find somebody who is teaching you how to do photography. You may not like how that person teaches you how to do photography, but maybe somebody else might. So YouTube, there's just so many options of people out there that can teach you how to do any particular thing. There's not necessarily just one person that can teach you this stuff.
Yeah.
Which is how school is like. School is like, we all have the same professor, or you may have a couple professors, but most of these courses are just one professor that's teaching it, and it's all the same. And it's like, I can't learn the same way that you learn. So
exactly.
But with YouTube is,
and like you're visual. If you're a visual learner, like there's nothing else to say, because YouTube, you're just watching either someone's screen do what you're trying to do on the computer,
step by step,
or you're seeing someone like in photography, like they break down each lighting pose and what they do to the face. Like it's really interesting, but and you just need to find that one person that matches your style.
Right.
And how many people do you think are on YouTube? Like, how many users every month are on YouTube? I just looked it up.
I don't even want to know the numbers.
Just take a guess.
Let's say 7 billion.
7 billion?
Yeah.
How many people are on this world, dude? You dumb?
Probably about 7.
Yeah, you're dumb. Well, it's 1.8 billion though, with a B.
That was
so
a random guess.
Mario wasn't so dumb then. You guys would be impressed, but I'm glad, dude. But all right, well let's transition. So
that's still a lot of people.
So that's the power of YouTube. It's more or less the most powerful tool in the world, I would say.
Right.
I mean, it's powerful as far as education goes. I mean, YouTube, I bet in 20, 50 years, YouTube is going to be where people like register for college and stuff, because there's going to be courses.
YouTube University.
Yeah, YouTube University. TM, by the way, we trademarked that right now. So now let's move on past to the fact that, okay, you found your passion, you found the certain topics you're trying to learn on YouTube.
Right.
Now, how are you going to take what you're learning from these courses online and transition them into progress? And I mean, the only answer is really just practice. So you copy what's going on YouTube, you mimic what the person's doing or whatever several people are doing, and you combine what they're doing into whatever you're working on. But it's super important to, once you have that, recreate whatever you're doing from scratch on your own, so take notes during the videos,
right?
Save certain times in the video that you're going to want to refer back to. But in the end, once you have this down, like, you don't want to just take what someone else is doing online. Like, the main purpose of YouTube is to teach people.
Right.
So learn from what these people are doing online, whether it's a motivational speaker, like an entrepreneur, like Ty Lopez or Gary Vee, take their advice, write it down on paper. If you're building a website, hard code it first on paper, and then, or a program or something, hard code it on paper first, really plan out exactly what you want to do. Because planning is everything. So you want to really make a step-by-step list of like what you're trying to do, and then you add the details on how to do it in there from what you're learning on YouTube or these online classes.
Right. And I mean,
so practice,
those videos as a basis to figure out how to do it. So use it as a basis. You be like, okay, this is how they do it. Because with anything that you do, there's always multiple ways of doing it.
And then put your own unique twist on it.
Exactly.
Do what, 100%. So you learn how to do it. You practice that. And then after that, it's really just trial and error. You keep working on it. You keep practicing. You keep referring back to YouTube. Say like you're 80% done the project, but you don't know how to, add a user login to your mobile app, or I don't know how to edit a certain dead tree out of a photo you just took in Photoshop or something.
Or how to design like a particular style of a logo or something like that.
So you can always refer back to YouTube, which is the best part of YouTube, because it's free and it's always there. So YouTube basis, practice what you learn, and trial and error. And then the last step is continue making progress through these steps that you just repeat. Exactly. So you repeat that. So you get stuck at a point, you go back to YouTube, and you practice that. Or you don't even need to practice. You could just throw it in, go with the trial and error method, and go from there. So,
and and the crazy thing is, like, you'll look back a year, 2 years down the road, you'll be like, wait, what? Like, you'll look at some of the stuff that you did, and you'll be like, huh? I created that? Like, what?
Yeah, I'm so happy you
just see
said
that progress, how far you came along. Like, it's amazing.
Because I literally, so I made an application when I was in college, and this application, what was it? It was, okay, so this was my senior project. So I created a hardware. I 3D printed this hardware like lever. It was for like a lock. So it was like an automated lock. So you can lock your door or whatever you attach this lock to from a mobile device on your phone.
I remember that. Yeah.
So what I did is, so I 3D printed the casing and designed it. That's the only thing I did authentically. Like the only thing I knew how to do from scratch. From there, I literally took YouTube on this little chip that would go into the locking device, and that's little chip is what would connect to Wi-Fi, which then you could connect the mobile app that I created that would associate it. So YouTube taught me how to use the chip, how to code that. That was in like C code, so you had to code there. So it was really simple code. It was if you press a button, it would send a 1 to this device, and if it was 1, it would lock the door. If you press unlock, it would send like a 0 and it would unlock the door. It's that simple. But I needed YouTube to learn how to code that little simple code. It was like 20 or 50 lines.
Right.
How to flash that onto the chip. So that was one thing I took from YouTube. Second thing was creating the mobile application for Android. So I used Android Studio. Mm-hmm. And I had some recent history or recent experience building apps in Android Studio. Right. So that was kind of familiar. But like if you're working on like one project was and that was with Hair Global Tech. So I was like at a somewhat professional setting. So it was completely different from creating an app completely from scratch. So I took like 15 different YouTube tutorials and combined that all into the application that I wanted. And then once I had the app and it connected to the hardware device, the last step was to create, because this was for a security class project. So the last step was to create a two-way authentication, like a two-way lock system to get into the application, because you don't want someone to grab your phone or to hack into your phone and be able to unlock your house from anywhere at any time. So
that's not good.
The first one was a simple password. So like you put in like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever password you probably use for your phone is the first step of authentication for this app. And then the second one was a fingerprint authentication, which is cool as shit because all phones pretty much have fingerprint sensors now. Pretty much. And that's the third and last thing I need to get from YouTube. So I pretty much watched this guy add fingerprint authentication to his application. I pretty much grabbed that code, modified it a little bit, and threw that into the application code that I had for the mobile app. And just like that, my senior project was done, all thanks to YouTube. I had a locking device that you could use remotely through an application on your phone, and it was secure. And the power of YouTube, folks, that's it right there.
Find anything through YouTube. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, there's definitely times where you may not be able to find certain things on YouTube, but that's why there's other resources out there for people to use. You know, like Udemy.
YouTube's just the most powerful source out there.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
But I would say Google, you could Google anything. So Google might take the cake on most powerful. Right. But it's either way, like what you need is in your hands as long as you have access to a computer or a phone or libraries, computers, things along those lines.
And I mean, and with that being said, there's really no excuses for you to not learn how to do something like having YouTube, having internet access. I mean, that's all around us. You could get Wi-Fi from anywhere, really. Yeah. So,
and I don't even think we'd survive without Wi-Fi or internet these day and age. I would be like rubbing two sticks together and getting nowhere. But
I'm like, yo, what did we do? Like, we'd probably just be saying here, like, all right, so what is it to do? Like, what
we just be rapping, I guess. There'd be nothing else to do. It would suck. But yeah, and there's just so much like true authentic freedom in having this tool, being able to choose what you put your time in and learn and develop and make progress in. There's so much freedom in that.
Greatest feeling in the world.
And I don't think about that ever because it's just so accessible. But
don't take it for granted.
I mean, right now, if you're listening to this, whatever you want to be doing, do it. You can do it because YouTube's there. There's a million reasons not to do something like money or time or whatnot. But if you're passionate about something, you really care about something, you want to see a change in it, then you have the power to do so. And folks, that is the power of YouTube. All right. That's a wrap for topic 2. Let's head into our last topic of the day. Alrighty, the last and final topic, motivation and action. So if you don't feel like listening, you got things to do, we're going to sum this up real quick, and that is what we're going to be talking about is taking action once you find that motivation.
Right.
Because being motivated and taking action are two completely different things, because I've been motivated. I believe I've been motivated like my whole life to do whatever that might be. Right. Yeah. To make $1 million, I'm motivated to do, to travel the world. I'm motivated to, get ripped, get more healthy, go to the gym more. I'm motivated to do that. But you can be motivated until you're in the grave. But taking action it's
a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it's a key factor that people like myself who am always motivated, and I try to express like that eagerness and that resilience to as many people as I can, as far as when I was applying for jobs and interviewing and mentors I talked to and things along those lines. But that action is just hard to get to. Like that's really what, like that's what's like.
That's I mean
that sets
people apart. That's
the verb of like motivation is like acting upon it. So
it's like that saying, once the tough gets going, whatever. But so going gets tough. That's what. How do you take action once you find that motivation? Once you really like, you wake up that one day, or you come across that one YouTube video, or you see someone doing this or that, and you're like, damn, that's it. Like that's the motivation. You feel it like in your heart, you feel it in your soul. How do you take action towards that? I think taking action.
Like what's something you're motivated and what's something you're taking action? Let's start off with an example, I guess.
Before I hop into that, let me say, to take action, and we kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. Once you take action, before you take action, you really need to have like a strategy in place. So like the actions that you need to take. So one thing that I've been learning is, that is action, right? Is planning and writing. Yeah. But you have to have a strategy and plan in place to do so. So like one thing I've been learning is, it's best to kind of like have like a large goal and then kind of break that down into actionable steps. So once you do that, you kind of realize like, oh, okay, it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be.
When you put it,
to take baby steps. So like, okay, for example, like let's say you have to run a marketing campaign. You're like, okay, for the campaign, we need to pick a name. We need to get some hashtags. We need to get some flyers, all that type of stuff that goes into the campaign. And once you break that down, it just makes it so much easier to be like, oh, wow, okay, once I do these little baby steps,
then you get the ball rolling.
Right.
And I like what you just said, with saying your goals and whatnot, because more like motivation is more or less a synonym for a goal. So you're motivated to, let's say, become a millionaire. That is a goal that you want. Like you're motivated. Yeah, you're super motivated because you really want that. You want to help your family out. You want to go to, travel around the world. You want to be financially independent. Right. Like that's a huge motivation. That's a goal. But how do you you got to take action. You got to take action. Action is a persistence. It's resilience. It's something you have to do every day to work towards that goal. Yeah. That's why. And even motivation is synonymous to goals. Goals are synonymous to passions, etc. So this all kind of ties in together in the end, which works out nicely for us. But taking action is by far the hardest thing in this world to do, and to do it continuously and to do it day in and day out and keep working, because you don't see the progress every day. Right. You might not even see the progress for 5 years.
Right. And it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah.
It's a lot of patience.
That's it. That's the key. Yeah. Patience.
Once you have that patience and you understand like, okay, it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. Because what is it? Like you can do anything with patience and persistence. I believe that's what it says.
Right.
Or that's how the saying goes.
Right.
Let's see here. So how do you take action? So you find a goal, you're motivated, you hold on to that motivation for dear life. You write it on a list, you put it on a sticky note, you put it on a piece of paper, and you tape it to, the ceiling of your bedroom. You want to wake up every day seeing that motivation. So you wake up in that mindset that you were when that moment you realize like, okay, this is my goal. This is what I want. This is my motivation. And like we said, just like passion, that's going to change monthly, yearly. It's going to change throughout your life. But you come across one of these every once in a while where you get tunnel vision. You can't really think of anything else besides succeeding in this one goal. And so that's the first step, is holding on to that motivation, that goal, and, keeping that mindset and work towards that every single day. another way I would go about acting on motivation is whatever that is that you might be. So say you want to be a millionaire, you don't just become a millionaire, you got to work towards something. So say like, I'm going to become a millionaire by, trading stocks and bonds and CDs and things along those lines. So what you want to do is you want to go out there and start putting that work out there, start, testing the waters and putting it out there. So for an example, what we're doing, like we're creating this podcast, and we know how shitty we are at it because we just started.
Yeah, but we don't care about that. We know that if we keep putting in that work, we keep practicing, 100%. We keep making episodes, it's just going to get better over time. That's just how it naturally works.
And our end goal, our passion is to help you all out there become more successful quicker than we are right now, because it's taken us a long time and we're still figuring out like what's right and what's wrong. Long story short is we put out the first episode before we were really even before we really had a strategy or a plan as far as growing this page and this, this thing that we're building, just because we want to put the work out there and we want the world to judge us on, and we've gotten so much positive feedback. And that's bullshit because it's horrible. I really don't like our first episode. Yeah, people are being nice. I really don't like the first episode. But that comes with confidence. Yeah, I'm a little self-confident about it. But it's out there. There's nothing we can do about it now. I'm not going to go out and try to hunt down everyone that's watched it.
I just told him, man, we just got to put it out there for the world to see. It doesn't matter. Like, we'll get better. And people will see that we've gotten better since we first started. And
Gary Vee is a huge advocate of that. He said, just start, start. Just put it out there. And so you put the work out there, you let the world judge, you get the feedback, positive, negative. You want negative feedback so you know what to improve. But so that's the next step is you put your work out there and the only thing you do after that is improve upon it.
Yeah.
And then you repeat.
Yeah. I mean, and perfection doesn't exist. If you're waiting to be perfect with anything that you do, somebody else is going to beat you to it. That's really what it comes down to.
100%.
You can't be afraid.
But no one can do what we're doing because we're the best.
Right.
But so the first and most important thing is to hold on to that motivation. Do whatever you have to do. Get it tattooed on your arm. Put it as your background on your phone.
Get it tatted.
Get it tattooed. Do whatever you have to do to keep that fire. Keep that fire instilled in you every day, which is very, very hard to do. But it's with repetition, it becomes not so hard.
So much easier, right?
So that's the main and most important thing. Then after that, you just put the work out there for the world to see and improve upon it. And then you repeat those steps. You just keep putting work out there, keep improving upon it, and watch the magic happen before your eyes. Right. Honestly, it's pretty
nice.
Yeah, it is nice. And I have just one other example or I guess method as to taking action once you find that motivation. That would be to not only surround yourself with people with like similar intentions, but seek out, find mentors, find individuals that are where you, and this is not easy. You can't just go to your neighbors. Well, some people can, what you want to do is you want to find people that are ahead of your goals, people that have been through what you're doing and have found success.
Right. They're where you want to be at. You see them, you see yourself doing some of the things that they're doing.
So, I mean, what's going to get you into action more than you're motivated and you sit down, you talk to this guy who's failed several businesses and companies, but on his fourth or fifth try with persistence and patience became
very successful.
Very, very successful. And now this is just an example of someone I'm talking about, but now he's working on a new business, which is supposed to generate, I think he said like 10 times more than his most successful company. And this guy's already a millionaire. So it's finding people like that don't tell you how glorious the come up is, but tell you how challenging the struggle is in pursuing your passions and, just learning from them, like what mindsets they have. And you want to try to mimic the mindset they have now because that's where you want to be where they are now. So it all ties in like that.
And I kind of want to add on, it kind of all ties into what you're passionate about because you have to love the process and not just the end goal. If you love the process
is everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's everything. Like you'll love it that much more. You won't see as it being such a long time to get to where you want to be at. You see it as this is just all a part of the growth. Like I'm gonna learn so much from this. I'll be able to take this experience and apply it to something else. So it's
I mean,
amazing.
Gary V said the worst day of his life is going to be when he buys the Jets, because his end goal and doing all that, he's done so much amazing things, but his end goal is to buy the New York Jets, the worst franchise arguably in sports history. But it's where he's from. It's the team.
Man. I wouldn't say they're the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, they're down there, but I don't know.
They're down there. They're definitely down there. I mean,
probably say the Browns are up there. I feel sorry for the Lions, man. Lions fans.
Yeah, what's with the Lions, dude?
They got talent,
do they have
man.
fans?
They got talent. They definitely got talent, but
talent. You think so?
Yeah, I think Matthew Stafford is pretty good.
Matt Stafford's nice, dude.
And their receivers, man. They got some good receivers.
Like who?
Like Galloway.
Galloway is the only one I could.
What's the other guy name? He's pretty tall.
Golden Tate used to be on there.
Golden Tate. But no, the other receiver too. He's Marvin Jones. He's pretty good too.
Oh yeah, Marvin Jones. Yeah. Marvin Jones the third or something. He's not tall, but he's
pretty good.
Guy. Yeah.
So
long story short, like Detroit is just, I don't know. They're not a great team to watch. I'm sorry. We're probably not gonna get any fans, any followers from Detroit. But
we love y'all, man. We love y'all. We understand.
Yeah, we love you all except for Jets fans. I'm kidding.
Really, Cowboys fans.
Yeah, Cowboys. We don't want. If you're a Cowboys fan, please do not listen to this podcast, because we absolutely despise you. And we're gonna take the NFC East this year too, so that sucks for you guys. But I do like Dak Prescott, and
I don't know about that.
I don't know. He's more of a leader than Wentz will be, is, but I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so Gary Vee said the worst day of his life is going to be when he buys the Jets, because he absolutely he's addicted to the process of getting there. And when he gets there, because I would bet pretty much all the money I have that he is going to own the Jets at some point, whether it's a shareholder position or not. But
I think so.
But yeah, so you love the process. You want to live for the process. You want to, because like I said, like your passions, your goals, they don't want to be something you find joyful. Like you don't want your end goal to be sitting on a beach, because anyone can really like do that at any time. But you want to set your goal to something that you really, really, really care about inherently. Yeah. And you want that passion, or you want that journey to get to that end goal, the thing that you really care about and that you want to improve, and you want to see, success in the world. Then the journey is everything. And real quick, just to get that journey started, you need to take action. Right. And that goes back to not only being satisfied with being motivated to do whatever you want to pursue, but you got to take that action. And that can start today. It can start right now. It can start tomorrow. It can start next week. But just start it. If you're out there, just start it. Just start it.
Even
and then
if you spend 30 minutes, working on something, like that's 30 more minutes than you ever put into it. So.
And remember, you want to revise that. You want to revise that, passion list like every few years or months. So whatever you're on right now, get started, get working. See how it works out. I mean,
especially we're all young, so even if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. And kind of going back to the last point about the mentors and stuff, it's definitely good to find people around you that are doing similar things that you like. And if you can find those people, definitely build a network and a group where all you guys can kind of come together and collaborate and work on something. Yeah. Because that will help all of you guys go so much further than you would if you were by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube is huge, but never, ever underestimate the power of a mentor, having someone that can teach you hands-on their experience and whatnot. Because YouTube is great for learning and, practice and mimicking and whatnot. But when it comes to someone who can, sit down with you and really, you can hear in their voice the passion that they into. Yeah. So
nothing beats that. So
alrighty. I believe that is a wrap for topic 3.
So it's a wrap for the second episode of the Diving In podcast.
Thank you all for tuning in, and make sure you catch episode 3. We will be hosting our first guest on the show. Please make sure you follow us on Instagram at Diving In Podcast, and please subscribe and like to this channel on YouTube at the Diving In Podcast. And thank you all for tuning in. Goodbye.